Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar. I am Pierre Delez, and I will be your moderator today. Today's topic is document business process automation in the banking and finance industry. We are so happy to see so many of you joining. We have attendees from 48 countries, believe it or not. This is great. And before I give the mic and the screen to Bart and Maria, I would like to give you some information about how we will proceed today. You can ask your questions via the question tab on Livestorm. Bart and Maria will answer your questions during a Q&A session after their presentation and demo. Um, Everything that you see and hear today during this webinar will be posted and published on our website, irisdatacapture.com/webinars. That means that you will be able to replay the webinar, so there will be the recording. You will also have access to the PowerPoint that Bart and Maria will present, and to a landing page about this very same topic. I think it is time to start the webinar. Maria and Bart, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Peric. So, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And we are delighted to share with you our experience in document process automation and banking and finance industry. My name is Maria Bravo, and I'm sales account manager. I've been working for more than 20 years in several companies fully dedicated to the straight-through processing. Bart, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thank you, Maria. So my name is Bart Balacher, working for Iris, I think almost 12 years by now. And my responsibility is head of business development, where Maria is the expert. If we talk about banking processes, I will assist Maria with some technical know-how and background around Iris and Iris solutions.
Thank you. So I propose today the agenda, the following agenda. So let's start with Iris introduction. And before we explain you how to speed up your business process, it's very important to have an overview on customers' expectations and banks' challenges. Iris offers an intelligent document processing, but what is an IDP solution? We have selected one business case, the mortgage loan process, as it is one of the most complex in the credit department, followed by Iris extract demonstration. And then we will give you engineering insights, then the roundup, and at the end of the session, we'll have a moment for the questions and answers. Iris has been providing technologies and solutions to capture data, manage content, and transform unstructured data into ready-to-use, easy-to-archive, easy-to-share information between your different departments. Iris offers intelligent document processing, and Iris helps banks and financial institutions to reach a high level of straight-through processing. Who is Iris? Why is Iris so successful in IDP solution? We have 35 years experience in data capture. Founded in 1987, Iris is a spin-off of the Catholic University of Louvain-la-Neuve. Iris has always been recognized for its OCR technology. Our OCR technology is used by worldwide market leaders, among others, Canon, IBM, Adobe, HP. And we are constantly innovating and reinventing ourselves in new technologies. Then, in 2013, Canon Group decided to acquire 100% of Iris and consider Iris as the center of excellence in information management. With Canon, we have a global reach in EMEA, US, and APAC. We have two centers of development in Europe, in Belgium and Germany. That means that we master the evolution of the solution, also the implementation and the support. Iris is 150 employees. We are an agile company, flexible. We have 50 developers, all dedicated to innovations and new solutions. Iris Extract is our data capture platform. That means it's our intelligent document processing solution. And Iris is used by small, medium organizations, but also by large companies in different sectors, manufacturing, healthcare, and legal. So, of course, in banks and financial institutions. And there, I would like to give you a few examples. We have, for example, Teba Credit Bank in Germany uses Iris Extract to capture and to automate more than 1 million invoicing. Imagine, tremendous figure. And then we have also BNP Paribas in Paris, and this bank handles leasing documents with Iris Extract. We have another bank in Belgium using Iris Extract to help the automatization of incoming documents for mortgage loan. So that means that from one single platform, a bank is able to process incoming documents for many business lines and can leverage Iris Extract for the future needs of the bank. So what is the relationship between a bank and the customers? Of course, the relationship depends on the customer's life journey and the quality of the service offered by the bank. But the first document that the bank will request to its customer is the ID card. When the bank wants to onboard a new client, they need an ID card. Then, depending on the business the bank will do with its customer, it will ask, for example, for a mortgage loan, different documents, such as, for example, pay slips or a recent tax notification or a property contract. So the banks receive tons of documents, both in paper or an electronic format. But what is sure is that for each case, the bank has to analyze the risk, and all the information the bank needs can be found in the documents. Then relevant data, accurate data is very important for the bank, as the data is the fuel for banking decision and for the maker decision. So before we explain how to help banks and financial institutions to speed up their business processes, it's important to have an overview on the customer's expectations and the bank's challenges. The customer's expectations are very simple. They want a modern banking with online applications, with mobile application, and to have a quick and simple process. Imagine if you want to buy a house, you don't want to miss this opportunity. So it's very important to be quick. The expertise of an advisor is also and remains important to have a physical contact, for example, for investment. And as a sales, I love negotiate the interest rate and all the conditions of the contract. And customers' expectations are also other topics. For example, is my bank able to offer me ESG financial products, environment, social, and governance financial products? Is my bank taking care of the environment? So that is new concerns of the customers. And of course, is my bank account protected against the fraud? That is also a very hot topic. On the other hand, you have the banks and the financial challenges. And of course, the first priority of the bank is to meet the customer's expectations. And for that, the banks need relevant data from customers, and to be sure to send and to give a quick response. Because with a mortgage loan, for example, The banks know that they can upsell products, financial products, life insurance or other products. They have to control the risk. That is sure. They have to be compliant with New York customers and anti-money laundering regulation. And that is not a choice. Nowadays, the regulators are very often coming up with new regulations, and they have to know who is the client. There is not an option, it's an obligation. To be competitive. To be competitive, it's the last point, but it's not the least. It's very hard nowadays. Today, traditional banks are facing the pressure of new key players. For example, the neobanks. Neobanks don't need physical branches, or the fintechs, online processing. But let's have a look at the process from the customer's inquiry until the response. So the banks will receive tons of documents in several formats, paper, emails with attachment, with PDF attachments, image, and from several networks or several ways to receive those documents. Then the bank have to manage the documents, to verify, to check the data, and also to verify who is the customer. Is it a good guy or a bad guy? For that, they have to compare with official lists like OFAC list or PEP list. And then they have to analyze the risk and, of course, at the end, give or not the internal approval and send as soon as possible a feedback. But what happens if the data capture process is a manual process? But the manual process is too slow, and time is money. It's also error prone, and that can lead to a bank reputation damage and also a client dissatisfaction. So they have also to ask their employee to do repetitive tasks, and they don't use the loan expert focus on their business. So really, it's also an easier way to access to the customer's data, and it's difficult to avoid a fraud in a manual way. So we can have an external fraud with external fraud, but it's also more easier to have an internal fraud due to an abnormal behavior of the user than if it's totally automatic. So it's sure that traditional banks have to rely on their experience, their know-how, the knowledge of the clients, but also to deploy proper technologies as artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotic process automation. Because now we are in a new world, a phygital world. And what it means, phygital world? Phygital means it's the combination of the physical contacts with the digital processes. So the banks that are able to be digital agile and customer oriented and are able to manage and to exploit data and information will survive and thrive. Yes. So if you read in white papers, in the press, what is the future of the banks? One word always comes: digital transformation. And digital transformation starts with an intelligent document processing. I have mentioned IDP solutions. Many times I've mentioned IDP solutions, but what is an IDP solution? So I asked this question to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT answered and said, is the automation of data extraction from structured, complex, semi-structured, unstructured documents and converting them into usable data for business processes based on artificial intelligence, machine learning, RPA, robotic process automation, OCR, ICR technologies. Yes, the answer is correct. And I'm sure that ChatGPT has taken this definition from our website because it's exactly the definition of iris extract. How does iris extract work? Iris extract first can capture documents from different networks, from, for example, a mobile, from emails, from a database, and in different formats, PDF, Excel, Doc. And we can even improve a scanned document. Then the next step is the document classification based on artificial intelligence and rules based. If I send documents for my mortgage loan, I will send a payslip, the tax notification, and iris extract will be able to say, hey, that is a payslip, but that is a tax income. So it's a very powerful document classification feature. Then you have the data extraction, forms and free forms. Forms means structure, such as a ID card. It's always the same information at the same place. Or free forms and structure documents like an invoice. You have not always the same information at the same place. The next step is the check, the validity, the verify. So it's the automatic data integrity check based on rules. And of course, there are always exceptions, and those exceptions can be handled by a user. Then when the data are ready, we can distribute it into your banking system, for example, a loan generation application or ERP, a CRM. Yes, so the mortgage credit. The mortgage credit is the example we have selected. When you have to apply for a mortgage credit, the bank will ask you information about your employment, your income, your assets, debts, property information, and credit history. So depending on the situation and your request, you will send many documents. And if I take this document from the website of a universal bank, and you can see that the list is more or less 25 documents that a client should send, depending, of course, of this situation. So it's many documents to manage. Then today I am speaker, but I would like to be a customer, and I will ask Bart, who is my colleague, but also my banker today, to explain me how he can reassure me that my business process will speed up, and if he can reassure me if I will have an answer from the bank very quickly.
Yes, Maria. So I'm the banker now, I understood. So let's jump into my banking systems over here. So I'm at my server connected. The first thing that you did is you had an appointment with your bank. You discussed what you wanted. You wanted to apply for mortgage loan, and you received a list with documents.
And I sent you an email with all the documents
and
you
sent
requested.
us an email. So let me check if we received your email. So I have an email of Elise Dubois. I guess that you are Elise Dubois.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. So yes, we received your email. I see in your email that exactly as we requested, you have put some attachments to it, some payment slips, Service Fédéral de Pension, some other documents, a signed proposal. What I also see over here is that your email is in the directory processed. That's because we have an iris extract server running in the background, and iris extract is real-time monitoring our mailbox. And when a document comes in, iris extract will take the document and will process it. And once it's processed, then it does not destroy the email because this email is is part of the trace of the communication between us, but your mail is moved into the directory processed. So let me check now what Iris Extract did actually with your email. I'm now inside Iris Extract. What you see over here at the left is your email. And what I also see is there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually 6 documents that you attached to your email. I can see several things over here. I see, first of all the attachments that you've sent. The first thing that Iris Extract has done, exactly like you explained, Maria, we did a classification. We identified what kind of document we have in front of us. So the first document is your payment slip, and it is classified as document class income salary, because you are using a payment slip to prove your income, but there are other type of documents and they are all grouped for the bank as income salaries. So that's the first thing that I can see, that we have your documents classified. I see you have 3 income salaries, there's a purchase agreement, there's an income retirement, and there's a contract proposal behind. The second thing what I see over here is I have the trace, I keep the trace from the email inside my Iris Extract server, and which I later on will pass to the banking system, that the source of my document was an email. We received this email from Elise Dubois, and I have 2 date stamps. I have the date that we received the email. I also have the date stamp when we processed the document. I also have the original file name which you used. And the last thing that I see over here is internal reference. The moment that you were at the bank and you did your request, we created for you a case. And this case is your internal reference. And what Iris Extract did is he took the email and he linked your email to your request to the open case that we have on your site. How is Iris Extract capable of doing so? Well, there are actually multiple ways how Iris Extract can do this. I see one of the documents is a contract proposal. Actually, this contract proposal is a document which is created by us, by the bank. And there is a reference on this document in a barcode in this specific document. So it is in this case quite easy. We recognized on one of the documents our own reference, and due to this, we know which is the reference. But based on your name, based on your email address, based on other references, we are capable to link this document to your open case. And then a last thing what I would like to show over here is, if I go to, again, the first document, for instance, you see there are actually 3 pages inside. I will go back to this document. So the first document is indeed exactly your payment slip. If I go to the second page, this is the email that you've sent. This is the content of your email. So you say, please find attached this the requested documents. And then there is a second part, which is not so important. If I go to the contract proposal over here again, then I have again the document, but I also see at the end, again, this email. So the email itself is no longer a leading document. The attachments become leading, but we keep the relationship between the email, because it might be that in the email you wrote something which is important to keep trace of. So what you see is all your emails, your email is processed real time, completely automatically, and as such we can guarantee that we can give you a very fast response.
Thank you, Bart. So I'm totally reassured that I have a very modern bank helping me to have my mortgage loan. I know that this process is one of the more complex, and it takes a significant amount of time. Yes, the banks need 3 weeks to analyze the application, to verify the customers, and to send the application to the credit department before we can have the credit decision. It's sure that it's vital to establish a clear insight in the financial for both for the bank and for the client, and checking and validating the validation of the document is takes a lot of time. So I think a data capture solution can achieve in seconds what a human can do in several hours. So indeed, it's very important to automate this kind of process. For example, I know that for professional credit, my husband ask you before you have this beautiful solution, ask you a professional credit and send an interim statement. And the annual report is very standardized, but not the interim statements and the pre-processing. You told me that the pre-processing took more or less 30 minutes. So I think I'm very happy that you have deployed this new solution, Iris Extract. So yes, then I would like that you give me some insights, engineering insights. No, a little bit later perhaps. So nevertheless, you know that I am a impatient person, and you know that. So I would like to know if really I have to wait for 3 weeks before you can extract the data and send it to the right department.
No, you don't have to wait 3 weeks. And to be honest, what we did is within the bank, we developed some algorithms which are capable to make decisions completely automated. So it's quite easy. You did a request. Well, our algorithm will analyze all your data and will say immediately everything is green, your request is granted, everything is red, it is not granted. It's very rare that you're somewhere in the middle and that there is some manual work in between, which will take some time. But in general, we can take all decisions automatically, which also, to be honest, which has nothing to do with Iris. This is the know-how of the bank, which we developed. But of course, those algorithms, they need data, and this data need to be accurate. And this is where Iris Extract comes again in place, because what you've seen over here is that we did a classification, but that's not sufficient. That's not enough to feed all our systems. So after we did the classification, there is a second step, and I will show you now the result of the second step, where we go one step further and where we are going to do an indexation. Once we know what kind of document we have in front of us, we know, related to the type of document, what kind of information we need from this document. And what you see over here at the screen is that Iris Extract stops at purchase agreement. I know that it's not very good visible, but you see actually that income, salary, the first three are flagged green. So that means Iris Extract validated them and said, well, I have all the information, but hold on, here with this purchase agreement, I need some manual intervention from you. And you see the signature over here is green, yes. So Iris Extract thinks that this document is signed, but he is asking the user to just do a double validation. Why? Because in this case, the signature is a very important element of this document. And Iris Extract can see that there are signatures on it, but we cannot validate if the signature is valid. If I would have written Mickey Mouse on the document, then Iris Extract would think, yes, the document is signed. So in this case, there is a kind of semi-automated process just to guarantee the validation of the data to make sure that all the data is correct. What else can I see over here? Well, this is a purchase agreement, and Iris Extract found that you are buying a garage for the price of 10,000 euros, which is coming from the system. If I just take some of those other documents, which according to Iris Extract are validated, then I see, okay, this is a payment slip over here. Iris Extract captured the employer. You started at Mirolu the 1st of January 2020. You have a brutto salary and a netto. I see that you are living in Belgium because you're paying a lot of taxes. And I also see the date of the document on its own. What you also notice is that the data that Iris Extract capture is not the same as the one that we had with the previous contract, because this is really related to the document type behind. If I just quickly go to here, income retirement. I think your husband is retired and therefore he has another kind of proof. And then I see which organization has given this, also an external reference from here, and also what he received as an income over here. So all the information is extracted automatically. This is given to our algorithms, and based on this, the bank is capable of making a decision into seconds and to give you the same day feedback.
I'm very happy, and I hope I will get my mortgage loan. Okay, insights. 80% of the data stored in the banks are unstructured data, and that is too much because data could be more exploited, and then the banks can be more proactive and personalize services and products. 40% of the credit application are mortgage loans in certain banks. That means that this type of activity can be critical for certain banks. 50% of the analyst time goes to manual checks. Wow. Really, I prefer that the loan expert is focused on the business and not in repetitive tasks because it's not a good motivation for him. Then you have 300 pages per mortgage loan. Wow, I am impressive amount. So 300 pages. If you have to find an information into 300 pages, it takes time. 30 days for a mortgage approval, more or less 20% still manual processing. That can be improved. $1 trillion cost of dirty data in financial industry. $1 trillion. $50 million per banking firm. Wow. Then you have almost 150% increase digital fraud. And here I would say that an IDP solution combined with an existing business intelligence or anti-fraud applications can be really a solution to detect very easily and sooner the fraud, and then keep customers' sensitive data safe. So that is very important, and it's the responsibility of the bank to implement solution at each step of a process to detect the fraud as soon as possible. Then, Bart, I'm no technical person, but I'm curious. Can you explain me the engineering inside technical?
I will try. I will try to explain to a non-technical person how it works from a technical point of view. And I already give you my apologies if I talk too much technique behind, but I will try not to. What you see here on the screen is the workflow, just like Maria already explained. And it starts with injecting the documents inside the workflow. It ends with exporting the documents together with the extracted metadata into your banking systems. To be honest, not only your banking system, because it might be that you need the same information in multiple systems. If there are invoices, then you would like to have them in your ERP system or in your invoice system behind. Perhaps you have an external archive. So we can send the information wherever you need it in multiple times. The beginning and the end, the import, injection of the documents, the export of the documents, Iris has developed a data bus for it to make it easy and to guarantee that we can import and export wherever the source to whatever platform where you need the data. So it might be that you are going to scan your documents. It might be that you receive them via email. It might be that another application via an API would like to send them. For instance, perhaps you ask via your website your customers to upload documents. Well, this can also automatically be injected inside an Iris extract workflow behind. But where I would like to go a little bit more in detail is what's inside in the middle. How do we do this classification? How do we do this indexation? And how do we guarantee that the data that we extracted is 100% sure. Because at the end, if we would like to automate our processes, we need to be able to rely on the data that we've extracted. So immediately going to the first step, the classification. This can be done based on specific text, which is on a specific position on a certain document type. But it might be that the text is also very random somewhere on the document. It might be that we are going to use the look and feel of the document. For instance, what you see on the screen here is an international passport. It always looks the same. Of course, the data is different. This is what we call a fingerprint behind. We can also use the parameters of the document, like if it's a landscape document, if it's a portrait document, if it's an A3, what is the size of this document. And actually, we can combine all this information to, at the end, identify it is this kind of document that we have in front of us. Now, the nice thing at Iris Extract is there is no need to configure how to do the classification behind. You know, very often it is necessary to create rules to say, if I find a certain word at this position, then it is this document type. Or if I find the word invoice, then it's an invoice. But if I find the word invoice and complaint, then it's more a complaint instead of an invoice. And of course, this is technology which works. But imagine that you have 300, 400, 500 different document types. It's impossible to create 500 different rule sets to classify 500 different documents, especially if your documents are living and changing constantly ahead. So then you need something smarter. And what we do is we are using artificial intelligence to build the classification engine inside Iris Extract. What does that mean? That means that we just need to feed Iris Extract with samples. We would like to be able to identify a financial balance. Well, then I just give 100 financial balances to Iris Extract, and he will analyze what kind of words, what is the look and feel of the document. And then he will say, okay, now I know the document and I will be capable of classifying those balances behind. So if you have 300, 400, 500 document types, actually within 20 minutes, you have a system up and running, which is capable of doing the classification behind. Even if you don't have samples, or if the document changes over time, because that also happens, the AI is also used in production and it will learn from production. So if the documents changes, also the intelligence will change behind. Now, we are not only using artificial intelligence, we are still using also rule-based. Why? Well, if there is no need, then why make it complex? Keep it simple if you can keep it simple. So if there are very simple rules, a limited number of document types, 9 out of 10, we will just create some rules behind. If it's more complex, we will use the AI. And we can combine both. We can say that we have a certain level of qualification of classification based on AI. And then we will do a fine tuning with additional rules, which we will put on top of what the AI did for us, just to grab the best of both worlds behind. So once that we have classified the document, we know what kind of document we have in front of us, we are going to do the indexation. We are going to read the data from the document. Of course, in relation to the document type, the result of the classification. As you've seen in the previous demo, depending on document type, I will grab different documents, different information. And how we do this, we make a differentiation in two groups of technology. The first group we call forms processing. The other one is free forms processing. Forms processing means that we are going to capture information which is always at the same position at our document. For instance, we can read a barcode like this. And this is already an exception because, to be honest, the barcode can be wherever on the document we will be able to find it. But we can grab some text from a very specific location. We can also grab handwritten text from a document. We can read checkboxes. Are you happy? Yes, no. Or we can read a collection of checkboxes. How happy are you from 1 to 4? So this is standard technology. This is what we call forms processing. And of course, we are also capable of reading tables from a document where you have multiple records within a document. And then if I go to free-form processing, we are going to use other technology, again, with the same ID to grab information from the document. What you see here on the screen are the same documents. I know that the document is not very clear, but also these kinds of documents Iris Extract need to process. And actually, this is 2 times the same document. This is a certificate from a car, but the first one is for the state of Mississippi, and the second one is from New York. So you see it's 2 times the same document, but due to the fact that it comes from different states, the look and feel is completely different. And here we are still capable of capturing the information independent from the location from the document. And therefore we are going to use other technology, like for instance, combining the OCR result of the document with databases, with your databases. We need to look for the name of a customer. Well, can we find something which is in your database as a customer name? We need to identify the car. Well, your car has a license plate. There is a certain structure behind. We can use a regular expression to find the license plate or an IBAN number or a VAT number behind. We can also use something which we call key value search. A good example is an invoice. You would like to read the invoice number. You don't know where it is, but there is always a word in front, which is numéro de facture, invoice number, document ID. So once we find one of those words, we know in this area, we need to find the real value behind. Even tables where we have a different structure, we are capable of reading and do some record management behind. I will not explain how this works because then I need another half hour to do so. But remember that even unstructured tables, we are able to automatically read from here. Now, once we've read all the data, we need to validate if everything is correct. And this is something that we do also in 3 steps. The first thing is on every field, we can configure what we call a validation rule, a business rule. For instance, we've captured a VIT number. Well, I can do a lookup in the VIS database via a web API if this is an existing VIT number. I can even retrieve all the company information from this VIS database or web service behind. I can do a customer data match in a database. I found a customer Canon. Do we have a customer which is called Canon? Yes, okay. Perhaps I will go for a second element. Can I find the VIT number of Canon on the document? Can I find an address which I know, just to be absolutely sure that I captured the right customer from my document? And then also, of course, I can do some mathematical checks. Again, an example of an invoice. I have a netto amount, I have a tax amount, I have a brutto amount. The netto plus the tax should equal the brutto amount. So, and if all those checks say check, 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 okay, well, then we know all the data is correct. From there, we go to a second step, and the second step is what we call data prediction. So even if all the validation rules say everything is fine for me, we are going to look to the history, the nature of your customer, the nature of the document type. And again, the example, an invoice, because that's a very easy invoice. You receive from a certain supplier always invoices between, let's say, 500 euro and 2,000 euro. So the moment that you receive an invoice of 10,000 euro, even if all the validation rules say check, our data prediction say, hold on, 10,000 euro, we never had an invoice of this amount. Perhaps it's correct, perhaps it's not, but I'm not going to process this automatically. I will put this document on hold and I will ask a user manually to confirm, just to be absolutely sure that the data that we are going to process is 100% correct behind. So if validation rules say okay, if data predictions say okay, then it will be exported automatically. If one of those says, hold on, I'm not sure, then it will be routed to a user which need to do manual validation. And this user can be wherever on the world. That can be, if I think on the COVID pandemic, it could be a user who is working from home. The position of the user is actually isn't so important over here. Uh, Last thing, quickly to round up, I would like to talk a little bit about the architecture of our Iris Extract server and Iris Extract platform. So I explained to this workflow. Maria explained this workflow. This workflow is what we call a tenant, and an Iris Extract environment can have multiple tenants running in parallel. This can be a server which is running on-prem. This can be a server running in the cloud. A tenant can be a specific process, but the tenant can be also a specific customer or a specific service within the bank. Time to time, they ask me if it's possible to separate everything, because sometimes they want to split. They want to split off a certain service, and then it should be very easy. Well, due to the fact that we organized everything in different tenants, it is isolated and it's very easy to split, even if you would like to extract a certain tenant and to transfer it to a completely other Iris extract environment. Now, all the logic is inside the tenants, but the CPU power and the memory and the physical server, actually this is shared to optimize the resources of our machine. And then we also have some other shared modules. For instance, we have a common user management behind, which can be a user management inside Iris, but which can also be linked to your Active Directory behind. And due to the fact that this is shared, it might be that you will have users who, if you allow this, if you want this, who are going to validate documents for multiple tenants. And what you also see here is a reporting tool, because of course reporting is also very important. And if one server is not sufficient, well, Iris Extract is fully scalable. You can just add servers, you can add CPU, and you create one logic virtual Iris Extract environment. And due to this, there is no limitation on the number of tenants, on the number of volume that you can process. So to conclude, Iris Extract is a client server environment. It runs either on-prem, either in the cloud. It is scalable. It's scalable in the number of tenants, in the number of users, the number of CPU, the number of servers. And then, of course, for a bank as well, a very important topic, it is a secure platform. It's a platform where we are process confidential data. We are completely GDPR compliant. We have authentication towards Active Directory. There is SLA reporting behind, and all data is stored, encrypted inside Iris Extract and exchanged between the different modules of Extract in an encrypted way.
Thank you, Bart. I'm happy that my banker is so passionate by the solution.
I try to.
To conclude, the benefits of Iris Extract are the cost reduction, improve business processes, boost efficiency, know your customer, customer-oriented, and operation risk reduction. I thank you for your attention, but I would like to invite you to ask different departments where it's possible to automate data capture. And I'm sure that you will point out business cases justifying an investment. And I think you will also be surprised on the very short, quick return on investment. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Maria and Bart. That was very clear and very interesting. And looking at the number of questions and the quality of those questions from the audience, it shows and it proves that it is definitely a hot topic. I will take two questions, and for the other questions, we will answer them in person. So Bart and Maria will come back to you in person to answer your question.
Okay.
From first question from Andrea, UK, is there a limitation on the number of document types you can process?
No, no, there is not. And that's actually, this is really the advantage of using the AI. So from a technical point, there is definitely no limitation. You can go to, I've given examples, spoken about 500, but if you would say 5,000, also this will work. And just due to the AI which is behind, it is still manageable to have such an amount of document types.
Okay, very good. Second question from the US. Mike is asking what kind of reporting possibilities has Iris Extract?
Okay, I will try to be short because we have a lot of reporting possibilities behind. What we don't have to start with is we don't have a complete report module inside Iris Extract. Why don't we have this? Because very often banks, but very often large organizations or even a smaller organization have already some kind of centralized reporting tool. And creating a report actually, that's not the rocket science. What is important for the reporting is the data. You need to have the data for this reports. And here Iris Extract has two databases. We first have what we call the database with all the live information, the documents which we are ongoing on processing for the moment. That's one thing. And there we have a lot of statistics. We can see what are the number of documents, the number of batches that we are processing, how much time are they already in the system behind. This is a first kind of reporting that we have. And then we have a second reporting database where actually when we exported the document, we can copy all the data and we just keep the data which you need for reporting. So if you don't need this, then we just don't keep anything, but we can keep the data for long-term reporting. And you can group them in several types of reporting. The first kind of report is a kind of report on productivity. And productivity, you can see what is the average lead time to process a document. We can say what is the automation grade, how many documents, how many fields are captured automatically, where do we need some manual intervention behind, just to measure, you did an investment in automation, do you have a proper return on investment, so that you can measure this. So this is our reports on productivity. You can go more in detail and you can do this on user level. If you have a shared service center and you're working with multiple people, then you would like also to measure the people who are working with the tool. And then you can say, Maria is processing 50 mortgage loans per hour and Bart only 2. What's wrong with Bart? Also this, if this is something you would like, Iris Extract is capable to give you. And then the last kind of report is you can just use Iris Extract for BI, for business intelligence, because we extracted all the data and all this data can also be used for reporting. Give me the number of invoices per quarter for this supplier. Give me the number of loan applications that we received this month. So all this kind of information we can extract as well from Iris Extract, because Iris Extract is centralized processing all the documents. It's a long answer, I know, my apologies.
No problem. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I think it's time to close this this webinar. And if you move to the next slide, we can see the web address, so the Iris website, where you will be able in a few hours to actually replay the webinar, download the PowerPoint that was presented, and find the link to the landing page. Also, don't hesitate, of course, to contact directly in person Bart and Maria. You can see their email addresses there. And so, yes, thanks a lot, Bart. Thanks, Maria. And I wish you all a very good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.